Hello and welcome to another vlog. This time I thought I would do, I was supposed to do, well, originally I was going to do a piece about gear snobbery. And this probably lends support to that topic, because theoretically, if you have the fundamental ability to shoot in terms of how your camera works, any camera, they all work on the same principles of your aperture, your ISO, and your shutter speed. Whether it's photography or videography, you know, you have these settings to make to get the best out of whatever it is that you're filming or photographing. Just over the Christmas period, I bumped into some random in my hometown who was watching me taking photos with my phone and struck up conversation with me, as many people do in Oban. It's a touristy town, and generally speaking, I'm quite happy to chat with anybody. This gent, however, well, he wasn't 100% genuine, because albeit he started off his conversation quite harmlessly, it immediately led to me doing photography with my phone, and proceeded to lecture me for multiple minutes in why phone photography is just not really for the serious photographer. He had a large DSLR hanging off his neck. The brand is irrelevant. Because what I'm bringing to the forefront here is just the attitude of gear over ability. Now, I wasn't really doing anything in particular. I was out with my kid, you know, my daughter, and I was just taking photographs of her. And I seen a nice composition as well at one point, and I just took that photograph, and it was that photograph that it sparked the conversation. And then as I was being lectured about why you need this gear and why you need this lens and why you need to do this, why you need to do that, I elected just to listen and just to take it in the ear, because to be honest, I couldn't be bothered engaging. I didn't need to tell him that I was already a photographer. I didn't need to tell him I was already a videographer. And well, in fairness, I don't need to explain to anybody what it is I do for a living to quantify my ability, because at the end of the day, art is subjective. So it doesn't really matter if I was taking a photograph with an old 35mm point and shoot, or if I was taking it with the very latest of mirrorless full frame camera with thousands of pounds worth of glass on the front. And this is where the problem lies. You can have the most expensive camera, you can have the most expensive lens, but unless you know the basic fundamentals and the basic principles of either photography or videography, then what you're taking a photo or a video of is going to be irrelevant. It's not going to be great. Everybody starts at the beginning, I appreciate that, and it's a journey. You're always finding things out. You meet others who are like-minded and you discuss things and they tell you something and you're like, why didn't I know that sooner? And that's just a great thing, because generally speaking, when you do bump into videographers and photographers on a nicer scale, you have a common ground there, and invariably you'll talk about it and you'll find stuff out that you didn't really know before. And that's the great thing about that community. Anyway, perhaps if the guy had been a Pulitzer Prize winning photographer, perhaps I would have taken it a bit more off him, because then you would suggest, oh wow, this guy really knows his stuff. But I didn't know who he was, I didn't recognise him, so, I don't know. And would he have still have pontificated at me had I been a BAFTA award-winning aerial photographer? Who knows? So when I was visiting Dundee with my family, we decided to go on a little sort of weekend trip to Dundee. And while I was there, I took my camera, I took my drone. Well, I took my bag and I took my drone. And I thought, if I get the opportunity and the weather's okay, I'll maybe have a little bit of fun, do a little bit of film, and take some snaps. So obviously when the kids are running about, it's always quite nice to get a shot of them. So when I went into the bag to pull out my camera, I realised that I'd forgot my lenses. I did the proper thing after my last shoot, come home, tip everything out, sort out my bag, and I hadn't repacked it. I just lifted what was in it, and what was in it was my camera body plus the 50mm lens. That was all I had. I didn't have my stock lens or anything, so I just had this 50mm. So then I made a conscious effort just to put the 50mm on it and just shoot and just see what happened. Now, I shot all that prior to making this video, and I only came across the footage today, and I thought, do you know what, that's probably going to lend support to this conversation, because that day I was out, that was challenged with this sort of gear snob guy, was kind of turning his nose up the fact that I was shooting with my phone. I've shot lots of things with my phone, and one of the things that I know I can achieve with the phone is some silky B-roll. When I'm working on TV projects, the one thing that TV programs really, really like is social media. They have to engage with the fans that like the show, so they can warm them up prior to shows being made and going out, and everybody is on board with the production. Antiques Road Trip for the BBC is a big one for that one, because it's got such a huge fan base that they really want to know what you're up to, what part of the country you're in, and what experts are with who, and what car they're driving, and everybody's actually pretty manic when you're out on the road, because you're told by production to try and get as much footage as we can, send it back so they can throw it up on social media and kind of keep everybody in the loop. Last year, I quite liked the thought of, I had my DJI Osmo, my mobile Osmo holder, plus my iPhone 7. While the year before, I just took photos of all the classic cars. This year, I decided to do little trailers of the cars. Every car I worked with, I thought, wouldn't it be cool if you just did one of those kind of sexy car shots and just see. It's a little bit different, probably out with the format and not, But anyway, I had access to the Facebook page and thought, yeah, why not? You take the image on your phone, you put it on, you quickly edit it, you throw some music over it, a quick grade, fire it back out. Only has to be a minute, less than a minute, and you would have something like this.
Mobile phone, expensive shoes, you can get your own. Just gonna love you. Yeah, I'm gonna love you. Just gonna love you. Yeah, I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna love you, babe. Cross my heart and hope to die.
So that's just an example, and that is purely based on what I'm talking about. That was just me, my phone. Granted, I had a gimbal, and I shot at 120 frames per second on Filmic Pro, which is the app that I used on my phone, and then edited it through a GoPro software app, which pretty much does everything for you. And it's quick and easy, and once the video's made, you can delete all the footage off your phone and boom, there you go. Or unless you're like me, you back everything up via Dropbox, via the cloud, once you get into Wi-Fi. So then you get into this kind of habit then of making do with whatever you had. When I first started doing stuff, I only ever had my phone. I had a DSLR on my phone, and sometimes I used to mix the B-roll from the phone with my DSLR and my drone. And then as I went on and I earned more money and I bought a better camera, then I can start using the one thing for everything. So now I can use my GH5 for talking heads like I'm doing just now, but I can also use it to shoot B-roll because I can attach it to a gimbal, my Ronin M or my Ronin S, or my GorillaPod and whatever. It becomes more useful, but then that's just as you progress, as you understand how things work and you get better at how to utilise it. And then you go through the stages of filming or photography. You harness or you take a photograph of what your subject matter is, you get your composition, you bring it home, you edit it, you put it together, and then you throw it out, you get a critique, and then you go back. So basically, you learn something, and you go and you make something, and then you have to repeat the process in order for it to come in. It's a sort of reflective learning, and just keep going and going and going and going. I'm by no means an expert. I have an understanding, and it's that understanding that evolves every time I shoot. When I was in Dundee, I had all this B-roll, and I just shot with my 50mm, because that's all I had. Took some photos of the kids running about, my wife, all that kind of stuff, and then I shot some B-roll as well, and I thought, maybe I'll make something later, and I never did. And then I obviously spoke to this guy here in my hometown who wound me up immeasurably. I would just like to finish off with, but to be honest, I'd probably quite like to share my B-roll from Dundee. And what you can, I suppose, what did I achieve? Did I achieve anything? Well, I got some nice shots, I did, and I suppose if I splice it in with my drone, which I elected to do just to kind of give myself something to work with. So I edited something together, and this is what I got. Don't feel pressured or badgered into either purchasing gear because you think what you have isn't good enough. Because probably what you have got is good enough. Use what you have and get the most out of it. If you only have one frame rate, you can make that work for you. Sometimes you just have to make do, and it won't be the first time you've had to put a nail into a fence with a brick because you didn't have a hammer, or you've just kind of had to adapt, improvise and overcome. And I've been there, certainly, using whatever kit I've had to do it. So as I wind up this video, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope obviously that you never have to come across a gear snob, and if you do, just maybe walk away, or do as I did and just let them go for it. They don't need to know who you are, what you do or what you know. This is somebody that likes the sound of. And just keep practicing and keep doing what you're doing. As I said before, it's a subjective art. Doesn't matter how you do it or whether somebody thinks what you're doing is wrong. You work it out yourself. Maybe you already know. Maybe you're just being... Maybe that rule breaking is what makes your style pop over everybody else's. So thanks for watching this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little bell, then you can be notified of when the next one comes out. And sound off in the comments below. Let me know, have you come across these people that like to tell you that they're better than you? But thanks for your time, and I'll see you in the next one.